am Erin Ferris. I am the clinical manager here at ABC House. Xander is our courthouse facility dog gifted to us by Assistance Dogs Northwest. He's been serving children the entire time he's actually been here in the facility at ABC House. So what I mean by serving children is when he comes to the building each day, he knows that he's preparing to work. He knows that this blue vest that he's wearing means that he's actively working. When he's not wearing the blue vest, he can very much act like a typical dog, even though this dog is far from typical. He will greet children in the waiting areas when they're waiting for their services to occur. He will often spend time in the waiting areas for extended periods of time, especially if we've identified that we have an anxious child on site. And he'll go in there and do very much what he's doing with me, lay in their laps, on the couch. This is called a snuggle. He'll lay on the floor with them. He's the kind of guy that lets children lay on him, and he has no problem. He loves to greet everybody, and I mean everybody. In fact, he makes a point, even if I don't want him to attempt to greet every single person in every single room that he ever enters. He loves to give kisses, and that is one of his cues. He has gone into forensic interviews with children, and he's meant to go into forensic interviews with children, and he does really well. And we've seen children who were reluctant to talk change in affect once he has entered the room with them. So for instance, I had the privilege of sitting with an adolescent male who, when he came into the building, wasn't making a lot of eye contact, nor was he engaging with any of the staff or talking. So I was asked to take the dog into the room, and I did, and it wasn't but maybe just 2 to 3 minutes later that the child actually started presenting as bubbly and talking and engaging, talking about dogs, talking about his love of dogs. Xander went into that forensic interview with that young man, and we truly believe that it was because of Xander's presence that young man was able to detail the maltreatment that he had experienced. He stayed very tightly on the couch with that young man and kept his head in his lap. And like I said, we were all pretty convinced that Xander knew that that young man needed him and needed him to stay close. Xander tends to go into both AM and PM appointments, so really we haven't limited his contact during the day. He will go into sibling appointments, so sometimes he will serve more than one child during an appointment. During the afternoon, he is given a rest period, which is about 45 minutes of rest between appointments. I have to make a pretty concerted effort to walk this guy every day. He needs a lot of exercise. He likes a lot of exercise. We walk him without his vest on so that he can do all the fun dog things on his walks, including sniffing and exploring. And this guy's kind of funny. He loves to stop and smell the flowers. He loves to take in lots of smells, and so our walks look kind of funny. We'll move about a city block and then we'll stop for 5 minutes, and then we'll move about a city block and we'll stop another 5 minutes. And I allow for him to take in all those smells because he works so hard to take good care of ABC House staff and our clientele. He loves people, and people are usually surprised to find out that he is a young man because of how mellow and loving he is. He can get excited, and what he does is he mimics people's energy. And so if people are high energy and lots of arm movement, lots of leg movement, he too then can get a little rowdy. But for the most part, this guy is, as you see him now, sleeping. In his free time, he is an avid napper, but we try to take him on as many off-leash adventures as we possibly can. He loves the beach. He loves the Oregon coast. He loves the sand, and he loves running around. We train in off hours, so we work on our cues. It requires about 30 minutes of training every single day. If you don't use it, you lose it, so you have to remind him of his cues. We work on impulse control because this guy will snag any treat, any crumb from any crevice. He loves to spend time with my son at home. He can be found hanging out with Max while Max is reading, or he likes to greet Max every day to wake him up every day, which is pretty sweet. This guy is a real empath. When he perceives voices are raised or there's tension in a room, sometimes he'll even verbally get involved and we'll start talking, and he's actually pretty verbal. He talks quite a bit. He's such a giving, loving, responsive, attentive animal.